Hello, Catherine Reinke here again. My last video I said I'd try to make an outline, and I'm not so sure that that's what's really going to work for me. I would like to talk today a little bit about the metaphysical realm, the unseen world. From a fairly young age, and I'm not so sure that's not tied into some of the Masonic things that may or may not have occurred in my life. I had always been interested in, for lack of a better word, the occult, the unseen. 18 years old, instinctively believed in ghosts. I felt that I could see them, feel them, have strange sensations. I would pick up information. Maybe I can, got a little history of walking into a room and just knowing there was a murder there or certain things. My daughter Miranda, when she was young, I'll never forget, we were on a ship, walked into it was up north, giant tourist type of ship, but in the engine room, and she was like, "Mommy, somebody, I don't know, 3 or 4 people died in this room, really horribly." And the dossier who was giving the tour of the boat museum, he said, "What did you say, little girl?" And she actually said it to him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, there was this horrible murder, death, accident." So these things are real. You can get a sense of things that have happened before. So there is an unseen world that is very real. What I see happening today, especially in the school system, there's a agenda to dismiss the unseen world as laughable. That's a joke. Ha ha, you believe in jokes? Jokes. You believe in ghosts? A good Freudian slip. That's a joke. You believe in aliens? What a crackpot you are. You believe, now it's even in angels and demons. You're equally as crazy. My daughter's just still in middle school, so I see the peer pressure that they receive. However, I also see the kids are extremely, well, let's talk about that. There still is that interest, because I think at some fundamental, inherent level, all mankind knows that there's something real out there. Another piece of the information about myself is, all my life, since 18, we won't tell you how old I am, but I'm moving along nicely. I've been a psychic and a tarot card reader. I've always struggled with having this ability and this talent, with the biblical piece that it's witchcraft, you shouldn't engage in it. There were times that I've been on television about my reading. I've been written up in newspaper articles. I did it for a living. I promoted myself. I have a web page on psychic and my tarot reading. I think I might even have on this channel some instructions on how to read tarot cards. I've recently said I really do believe I have to stay away from that, because when I would read, I know that there is like this opening. You hear Mark Dice will talk a lot, and I truly enjoy Mark Dice. How a lot he'll show videos, and others besides him, he does it in a very comical way. How these musicians channel another person inside of them. They open up and they allow something in, and their talent is there. I know when I dance, same sort of thing can happen. With the tarot cards, I always said the Lord's Prayer. I asked for angels to surround me, but there was and I would ask, please give me, the information that this person needs to hear. And I can't tell you how accurate things that I would be able to say to people that I should have there's no way I should know these things. I later started realizing too, I could even pick up dead people. Oh, your grandmother, did she just die? And it would be the case. And that was even starting spooking me myself, because I'm like, I don't want to be medium. I don't want to be doing that sort of thing. So there is an unseen real world out there. So how do we reconcile that? How do I reconcile that? I really realize now there is a spiritual warfare. I think I just came across an article yesterday about physics. There's more dark matter or empty space than there is white matter, real matter. It means there's more unseen in the world, in the molecular world, than there is in the seen world. Well, what does that say? It is really nice to bring in the physics and the science and the quantum physics. Many times it just collaborates some of the things that I'm having an understanding about. On some of our travels, I've always been attracted to going to the haunted houses and the ghost tours, and we would everybody get their cameras out and at these certain haunted homes, which is another thing. I'm able to pretty much look at the house and go, that one's got something's going on there. But you take pictures and you would capture orbs in your camera. Some say those are just dust, but there's a lot out there. There is something going on, and that can be captured sometimes in the digital world. Interestingly, they're seen as light orbs. Right now, what we have happening on the planet at an ever-increasing rate are all these light orbs that are in the skies. Look at the ones that appeared over Washington. Type in YouTube, Google search. Quickest way to find things out about these light balls in the skies. What are these? Well, are these things spaceships? But they don't look like spaceships. I'm making the comparison between the light orbs in these haunted places and the light orbs in the sky. When we tie into the biblical with Lucifer, which means, of course, light, and the fallen angels that came down to earth with him around 200 from the book of Enoch, we hear. These are demons. Or Steve Quayle is trying to point out that these are the spirits of the disembodied giants, or the Nephilim, which makes sense. May not be the fallen angels, but rather these spirits from the Nephilim that were killed off in the flood, that are trapped here on earth and are really wrecking havoc here on earth. The metaphysical, unseen world is extremely real. It's been laughed off as superstition, oftentimes, and I guess I would say that I'm really superstitious. I find myself more so all the time. But something that just, I don't remember which academic out there pointed it out to me, but that demons can inhabit individuals. We know that more than one. Remember the Legion, I am 1,000, was inhabiting one individual, and also anything. And that really hit me. So we have all of our fun little shows on TV about the curio shops and the antique stores where you bring something in, you purchase something, and it, all these horrible things happen. I actually believe this is really true. For some reason, I can't quite understand it. Maybe it's original sin. I think I was listening to Steve Quayle yesterday, and said something about there's maybe a genetic code in us that's still. Maybe I won't go into that. Just the original sin piece. I've always been attracted to the things that I shouldn't be attracted to. I remember being 18 and just looking at people's hands and studying them, and then I learned there was palmistry, and I jumped into that and became a palmist. making circles of rocks and laying down in the up and trying to make the clouds move with just my thoughts, which incidentally can be done. That Men Stare at Goats, fun movie, a lot of truth in there. So a lot of this is Wiccan things too, with the weather magic and things. We as human beings do have these capabilities. We should not. We're ordered not to, and we shouldn't engage in them. But I've always been also attracted to antiques. These old, I think, some ways, these haunted houses, which really aren't haunted, they're probably possessed or with these disembodied spirits that aren't good. I'd be the one who, let's buy that old house, honey, and fix it up, and then we'd be stuck there with, all these mysterious, awful things happening. So once we know this and understand this and really come to grips with it, what do we do with it? Every day is a new day to fight this unseen world. And how do we dispel these spirits? Or we might have brought something into our home, which I have many antiques. I was in the vintage business, clothing business, and I, at times I'm like, I have to get rid of all this stuff. But I find them really hard for me sometimes to let go of these things. What's that about? But how do we dispel these things? Well, prayer and the Native Americans, and I'm not sure if this is really works or not, but it has kind of for me the smudging with the sage. I would do that all the time. I say, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, any unclean spirit, leave this home, as I would blow my sage, and then always have a door open so that it could leave. So I guess let's be aware that there is an unseen world out there that is constantly battling for us. Do you believe, have you ever experienced a horrible argument in your home? That dispels an energy. And after that type of an event, if you don't restore peace through music or other things of like cleansing and prayer and thought, that kind of habituates itself, just keeps on going, and something sort of starts growing. So I've made a really big effort through, I believe, vibrational frequency helps dispel these spirits or this negative energy through music, proper music, not rock and roll, not what's going on right now, classical, some new age. Classical is perfection, that works. Running water. I just try a lot of different things to try to bring harmony and peace around me, because that is not, they don't really like hanging around that, and that is their job to, bring discord. So that's what I had to say about that, and thanks for listening.